I mean, the first thing is that there's never really a great time to start a business. You can always find a reason to not start. There's always something, right? I think the best time to start, if there ever was one, was when you're young, and especially when you're in school, because you know you're okay. I think your opportunity cost is arguably not as high because expectations aren't really that great. I mean, if the business fails, it fails, no big deal. It's not necessarily your livelihood. Hopefully, you're still living at home if you've got an issue with your parents, and they haven't shipped you off yet. Uh, and you really don't know what you don't know. And when I started the business in high school, it started really as just something to do to make a little bit of money on the side, more of a hobby than anything else. And it turned into something that was much, much bigger than I ever thought. Yes, I hid it from my parents. Would I do it again? Yeah, I probably would do it again, only because, as much as my parents are, the sort of greatest parents I could ever ask for, very loving, very supportive. But when it comes to trading off education and starting a business, for example, they'd always push me toward education. I can't really blame them for it. Had they known that I was running the business in high school, definitely would have gotten hit for that. Yes, definitely. That was completely acceptable in my family. So I am glad that I didn't. I think the key thing is, just remembering that, I guess remembering not to underestimate, um, the amount of support that you can get from your parents. I guess that's one key thing. I always thought they would be completely against it, and so I hid it from them entirely. And would I do it again? Yes. Uh, had I told them, is it possible that I wouldn't have made some of the mistakes that I made, and we would have had a much more successful company and sold it for a lot more than we did? Probably, because I didn't know anything and I made a ton of mistakes. If you don't feel comfortable talking to your parents the way that I didn't feel comfortable talking to my parents, then I think it's important to have people around you that are like your parents, but can't actually hit you if you make a mistake, or you don't have that same sort of emotional connection that and relationship that you do with your parents. So, for example, I actually to this day get along really well with a few of my friends' parents who are successful entrepreneurs and who I go and talk to when I have issues with my business. And it's sort of like they can give me sort of that wisdom, that kind of fatherly advice, but there's still kind of a gap where it's not a father talking to a son. It's someone who has more experience talking to somebody who has less experience, and I just find that to be a lot easier for me to compartmentalize. Um, and you don't have to like worry about sort of all the other parts of the relationship getting in the way of whatever specific issue you're putting on the table at that time. So the two most important advisors I found to have around me when I was young was a lawyer and an accountant. The chances are, if you're young and you're in school, you have no experience and no concept and no appreciation for either of those things. And even if you are out of school, I'd still recommend to have a really good lawyer and a really good accountant by you at all times. And if you're able to get, folks who are fathers or mothers, or somehow kind of in your immediate social sphere where you don't have to necessarily pay them for that advice, even better, because there's nothing like getting free advice.